Come on, kiddo. You got it. It's a big old pig. Alright, so there it is. I've got the tank on and I've got the wild hog inside the pot. You're gonna bring it to a nice simmer, and once that gets to a simmer, I'll turn it down just a little bit, and we'll do it low and slow, probably for probably about an hour to 2 hours, depending on how long it takes this water to heat up. As you can see there, I got most of the meat already off of it, and you want to try to get as much meat off of it as you can, because it'll just make it a lot easier. It's less boiling and pressure washing. Now, I did a pressure wash and boil method when I went to Colorado and got my mule deer, so I figured I'd try it on this pig head that I've had in the freezer for quite a while. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of Dawn dish soap in here. I'm pretty sure that's how we done it in Colorado. I just can't remember what process we put it in. So I'm just gonna add a little bit and see how it does later. That'll help with the whole degreasing and get some of the oils off the meat in the skull. All right, y'all, so while I'm waiting on that hog head to simmer, I'm gonna go ahead and work on this alligator. Now, I've had this alligator in the freezer for probably 10 or so years, and it's needing to get done. So I'm gonna show you the process, and this will be my first time ever trying a European mount on alligator, so we'll see how it turns out. Alright, y'all, so I just got done boiling it for the first time, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly what I did. I took it out already and laid it out on a board, and I'm going to start pressure washing it. Let's check it out. Alright, so what I did is I took a piece of copper wire and ran through the board, and I'm going to hold it in place, and I'll go ahead and start to pressure wash it and get some of this loose meat off and stuff like that. Alright, y'all, so you can see here, we cleaned it off pretty good. There's still a little bit of fat and meat on the bone, so I'm gonna have to boil it again. Bunch of chunks here. And I'm gonna pick some of this off, these bigger chunks, and try to get some of it off just to make it a little faster. And working on a gator, about got it all cleaned up pretty good, about the best I can get with the skin on it still, but this is gonna take a little bit of work, but we're gonna get at it. All right, so the pig's pretty much done. You can see here though, some of the teeth come out. I happened to just catch it laying on the ground, which I got the important teeth anyways, but some of the front ones are gone, but I don't really know how many was in there. I'm gonna go out and look around, but that kind of stinks. They could be down inside the pot, and I'll check it once I'm done. But come out pretty good so far. I just gotta bleach it now, but all the meat's gone. I'm gonna go through and just do some final checking and get it around these teeth and stuff. As you can see there, there's still a little bit of meat and stuff around in here, so I gotta get that out. And I got the brain cavity, all of that inside the skull's clean. I mean, that's what it's looking like so far. One thing I noticed on here, on these big ones, I know my other one was the same way. They're hollow, but you want to get all this meat out of here. That there will start stinking really bad. I'm gonna try to pull this other one out, and I'll try to get it cleaned out as well. I put the gator in. It's starting to boil now, or simmer. So I got to add a little bit more water in there so it's fully covered up, but get started on it. All right, so this is my first time doing an alligator. And what I'm noticing is these teeth are pulling out really easy. Well, they were easy. But all these teeth, they sit down in these holes right here and they're coming out really easy, so you don't want to pressure wash. If I pressure wash, I'm going to blow these teeth away. So I'm going to go ahead and try to cut a lot of this skin off. It's peeling off, but I'm going to try to pull each one of these teeth out before they blow away and I lose them. So that's just a little tip for everybody if you're doing alligator. But the skin, I was nervous about the skin not coming off, but it's coming off really easy. But I'm gonna boil it and keep pulling teeth out. As they get loose, I'm just gonna pull them out. I wanna try to get them all out of there before I lose them. All I'm doing is grabbing a hold of them with these pliers and just pulling them out. They come out really easy. The hotter it is, the easier it is. But they just come right out. So I'm gonna do that all the way around this mouth, just so I don't lose it. But I'm gonna try to do to like the middle right here, and then I'll put them in one spot. So I make sure I got all the teeth together in one area for each side of the mouth, because it's gonna be hard to figure out which teeth go where. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm glad I noticed that before I started pressure washing, because I'd have lost them teeth. All right, y'all, so it's the next day, and last night I went through my footage and I realized that I really probably didn't do the best job on videoing and showing exactly everything that I was doing, and I want to apologize for that. Number two, I want to take a minute and give a big shout out to Mark J. Larson Outdoors. Now, if you ain't checked his channel out, go over and check him out. I'm going to leave a link in the description of this video. He really sparked my interest in going ahead and getting these European mounts done. Like I said earlier in the video, I have had these alligators in my freezer since 2013, and I've had my pig head in the freezer since 2018. So I've been toting these things around, and I really need to get this project done. So I actually, the other day, I was watching one of his videos where he did on European mounts, and he gave a couple good ideas, and I kind of stole them ideas from him and used them in this video to show y'all. One of the things that I'd done previously on this pig head, this is the first one I ever did. I mentioned it in the video, and I made a few mistakes, and I figured I would correct them on this next one. So I want to show y'all a couple of things, and I'm going to show you, I've got everything laid out on this table here, and I'm going to go over and show you exactly how everything came out, boiled and pressure washed. Now I've also got my mule deer in here from Colorado. I went and bought the peroxide paste that Mark J. Larson uses, and the Mop and Glow cleaner and sealer. So those are two of the things that I use from him, and awesome ideas, and I'm hoping I get a better result. Now this pig head here, I actually bleached it before and it didn't come out as good, but I used a liquid bleach and I probably used the wrong stuff. So I'm gonna use the cleaner this time, or the paste with the cleaner sealer.
And another one of the ideas that he had was he took the board, laid it down, and you could use any piece of board or whatever. He used a pallet, I believe, and he ran a wire through it and held his skulls down. That was a great idea because when I went to Colorado, it was freezing outside and we was pressure washing this mule deer head and it blew everywhere. We had just had it laying up in a big stainless steel sink, and it was just blowing everywhere, and I was getting nasty, and we was wet, it was cold, and it was just miserable. So I appreciate all the tips, Mark, and if y'all's gonna do a European mount, so far this has been an easy process. I highly recommend you go over and watch Mark J. Larson's outdoors video and see how he does it. But anyways, let's jump into it. I'm going to show you exactly what I got, the end results, and I'll show you the next step. All right, so first off, this is what Mark recommends using. This is what he uses for his mounts. And this is just a peroxide. It's a cream peroxide developer, and it's a paste. So, you know, it worked out really well when he used it, so I'm going to give it a try. This here is a Mop and Glow 3-in-1. It cleans, it shines, and protects. So he used that as a sealer. But this is the alligator head. Now, like I said, this is the first time I've done an alligator, and I realized, which I knew it did before I'd done this, but the bottom jaws are split in the middle. So I've got to figure out, go in and watch some videos and figure out how they connect them. But as you can see, I mean, the alligator skull turned out really well. It's really white. But as I was saying in the video earlier in the video, the teeth pop out. So I was kind of surprised at that. Let me zoom in here now that it's finished and it's dried. The teeth aren't like the pig, in which I'll show you here. They're in, I'm trying to do this one-handed, but they're in like a long channel. Now, if you look at the pig, one of the pig skulls here, they actually have holes for their teeth. So this was a little bit more complicated as far as not losing the teeth, and I really messed up because I should have waited and used like a piece of styrofoam. My idea was to stick the gator head out, cut a piece of styrofoam or a piece of cardboard, and set the skull down on it. And then when I pulled the teeth out, mark where the teeth go. Just count the amount of teeth, punch holes in the cardboard or the styrofoam, and then as I pulled the teeth out one at a time, go ahead and put it in that particular spot. Because now what I've got here and what I've done to myself is I took all the teeth out and I separated it from the mouth. Like I did, this was the bottom jaw. I took all the teeth and I put on a table in the bottom, and I put all on the right side. And then when I did the other side, I put all them bottom jaw teeth over here. Then when I did the top, same thing. So I separated them by splitting the skull, you know, dividing the amount of teeth. I did this side, I separated, and then from this point on, I separated this side. So I kept them separated, but what it done now is I don't know the order because of the channel. Now, some of these are big, and the actual hole in the jawbone was bigger. So I know these kind of go here, but I still don't think they're right. So I would highly recommend you try to separate them and mark somehow how to keep the teeth separated. But other than that, I'm really impressed on how white and clean these skulls come out. Like the top is a little bit yellow, but as you can see from the hogs, they're really yellow. Now this one here, this is actually one that I'd done a long time ago, and I made a few mistakes. I boiled it too long, and I pulled a lot of the nose cavity out, but not a whole lot. But what happens is, as far as that goes, like I said, I bleached it, and it just didn't turn out that well. But I haven't sealed it, I haven't done anything, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that one today too. But as you can see here, it started cracking in some spots. And another thing is some of these, it's not this one, I've got one here. One of the teeth actually started splitting. Like you can see kind of a little bit right there, it split. I don't know which one, I think it might be this one. But the teeth actually got too hot. Right there is the one, and it split it. So you want to make sure when you're doing these European mounts that you're doing a slow boil, you know, just a slow simmer. I mean, this one, as you can see here, this is the one I just done in the video, and the teeth come out really well. There's no cracking. Now you're gonna have some hairline cracks, but that is actually in the skull. These pigs, if I zoom in here, that comes, you know, that is already like that, but it turned out really well. We did the same thing on the mule deer, and I was really impressed with this one. It turned really white too, but it's just something about these hogs for some reason. I don't know if it's the oils or what, but they're really yellow looking. But that's the mule deer, and I'm gonna put the cream on it and paste and do the next step. So let's go ahead and jump into that. I just wanted to give you a quick look at, you know, how these turned out and give you an idea on what the next steps would be applying this stuff. All right, so one of the things you want to do before you go bleaching or peroxiding or anything, and we done it when we boiled this mule deer, but like I said, I didn't do none of that. I show a little clip here where we was boiling it. You want to take some tape and you want to go around the burrs on your horns, just to make sure that you don't get anything up in here. Now you could probably come in here and go real gentle around the burrs and everything down here on the bottom, but you don't want to get any peroxide or any of the paste up around these burrs, because it'll actually bleach out the color on this and turn it white, just like the skull. So in order to do, you know, in order to keep from doing that, we're going to go ahead and just put some tape on it. It's not exactly easy to do because it's not a flat surface. I'm not worried about getting it completely perfect because, I mean, this is really my first time ever doing a deer, so. And I plan on going back to Colorado and getting one that's a little bit bigger than this one. My next one's got to be way bigger, actually. I'm just going to use an old paint tray. And Mark, he used like a flat tray or something, just so when you pour the peroxide in here, down inside these cavities and stuff, you know, you're not wasting it. And pretty much what Mark did in his video is he poured it down this nasal cavity, which is a pretty good idea. That way it's soaking down in there and getting everything. Any of the orifices on the top, around the top of the nose, he went ahead and poured it down in that too. This way it'll get a nice coat. So that's why we're using the tray, because then when it falls down here on the bottom, all you're gonna do, and I imagine you wanna be careful and not get it on the teeth as well. So I'm gonna try not to be too sloppy. Just put a little bit there. And I'm just gonna take this brush and I'm gonna go all down in these little cracks and these crevices and try to get as much of that down in there as I can. Now already you can see I'm already messing up because I'm letting it run on the horns, and that's why you want to use the tape. So I'm going to just go ahead and paste this up. I'm going to leave this one set here for a few minutes while I work on another one and let some of this drip off, so I make sure I'm not getting it anywhere that I don't want it. I did a bottom jaw, so now I'm doing the top on this skull. I'm trying to get in all these little holes and these crevices, just like I did on the mule deer. All right, I think that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna call that one done. I'm gonna lay it on the table over here out of the way. All right, y'all, so I had a valuable Swamp Stalker moment that I definitely learned from. So after I started thinking about it, as I was going ahead and applying all this peroxide and I was feeling the sting in my fingers, I decided I probably ought to go and get some gloves and wash my hands, and I'm glad I did. Now, I know most people would actually cut this out of their video and only put the good stuff in their videos, and I'm not going to do that like I was saying previously. And this is why, because I'm an idiot. I messed up, I admit it, and I learned something from it. And that's what this is about. I'm trying to teach you guys stuff and learn by my mistakes. That's all I'm gonna say. As you can see here, look what it done to my fingers. It literally turned my fingers white from the peroxide. Don't be me. Read the directions on the bottle that says keep away from skin. If come in contact with skin, wash it. So guys, wear gloves, please. Don't be swamp stalker. All right, so now that I got my gloves, I'm gonna put some gloves on, and I only got these cheap gloves, so we'll see. Hopefully they don't burn holes in the gloves, but I don't think it's gonna be that big of an issue. I mean, it says as far as the ingredients is peroxide, so I'm not too much worried about it. I'll just keep an eye on it. On these alligators, you can see there's the cavities that run down in here, and it goes all the way down inside this nose on both sides. That's going to be its nasal cavities. So I'm going to try to get as much down in there when I'm done. And the same thing, they have a brain cavity up here. I'm going to try to be careful with these two teeth because they are nice and yellow, as you can see there. So I don't want to discolor them as much as possible. So I'm going to do around those first. I'm going to try to get as much of that down and around that teeth, them two teeth. Down inside those holes from them other teeth. And get as much of this down in there as I can. You can see there, it's all covered pretty good all the way around. It's pouring out the nasal cavities. Down around the brain cavity, it's just nice and thick. I'm gonna leave this one set in this tray because it's got quite a bit. So I'm gonna leave this set overnight for 24 hours. I'll come back to it tomorrow. And see, this is why you gotta wear an old shirt, guys. I'm sloppy. But I'm gonna get in here and clean my hands and make sure I got nothing else on there. But like I said, man, that's my bad. You know, I learned something, but probably pretty dumb on my part, but it is what it is. All right, everybody. So I took a little break for a couple days and I let all this stuff dry up real well. And I come back to put a little bit more of the 50 volume peroxide paste on it. I want to do another coat because the alligator's pretty much white, like the bottom jaws, they're all pretty white, but it's got a little bit of yellowing on the very top. So I done added another coat. The pig heads the same way. They come out a lot better than they were, but as you can see, they're still pretty yellow. So I added another coat to those as well. Now I went ahead and put the Mop and Glow on the mule deer head, and it's looking pretty good so far. I'm gonna let it dry and seal it up. So pretty much all you're using is that Mop and Glow to seal it, to keep it from turning yellow. And I put some in the bowl and I put it down in this tray, and I just went over it real good and made sure I got it down inside the brain cavity and down in the nasal cavity and just cleared it real well. And we'll see how it turns out when I go to rinse all this back off. And hopefully these will be white enough for my liking. And we'll go ahead and put the Mop and Glow on those and put the teeth back in. Now I'm going to have to glue all these teeth back in. So I'll probably do that. If not, then I'll just show the end results. But either way, we'll catch you guys towards the end of this video. And I hope you're enjoying so far. All right, everybody, so I just got done putting the Mop and Glow on. I glued all the teeth in and everything, and I just got the fan running, trying to dry it all down, and that's pretty much what they look like, guys. But you can see they turned out pretty good. I'm pretty pleased for really my first time doing it. I did it one other time with this one pig skull, and I made a lot of mistakes. As you can see, I boiled it too far and it started to crack. Some of the teeth started to crack, but this time I took my time and really slow simmered it, and everything came out really nice. I'm really pleased, other than the gator. You know, I realized that I really didn't put the gator in very long, but the front of the jaw split, and that is a common thing that happens. So I just got to figure out how to go about putting it back together so I can put the two pieces together. And other than that, I mean, I've got one more gator to do that I've had for a long time since I had the other one, and it's a lot bigger, so I got to get a bigger pot to do it. All right, everybody, so here's the end results. I kind of staged everything up a little bit so you can get a better look. I'm pretty pleased with how everything turned out. That's the mule deer. I still have got to put some of the teeth in some of this stuff. Like, this is my first pig I ever did, and I got to find the rest of the teeth. I got them put away, and I just can't remember where I put them, so I've got to find that. But this is the newest one. I've got all the teeth glued in. Same way with the alligator, all the teeth are glued in. Now, I did learn a lot. You know, some of the suggestions I put on there about pulling the teeth out one at a time and marking them, and that was kind of my mess up. But like, again, this is my first time doing it. I put second coat on there and everything got a lot whiter, but it's still not perfectly white, but I'm really pleased with it. I didn't pull the teeth all out, so I tried not to get no peroxide on the teeth. I really like the different colors and textures. So I just wanted to tell y'all thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something. Don't bleach your fingers like me, y'all. But hey, look, they're back to normal, no problems. The very next day, they were back to normal, so I was kind of shocked. I was thinking I was going to be walking around with white fingers for a while. But anyways, y'all, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next adventure.